What's going on YouTube? So over the last decade or so, the list of affordable, fun-to-drive vehicles has dwindled dramatically. However, things might be starting to change with this. This is the all-new Honda Prelude. This marks the return of an iconic nameplate, and it's promising to carry on the tradition of bringing lots of smiles per mile. So, is this the sporty coupe you've been dreaming of? Well, let's go ahead and take a first look to find out. So let's kick things off by taking a look at this exterior design. Now guys, you can see this is a really good looking vehicle. Honda really did a great job here in terms of making it look very sporty, very aggressive, and just having a general overall nice look, in my opinion. Now, in terms of what you get up here in the front, well, you got a nice and wide look with some good aggressive elements. Of course, up here at the top, in terms of your grille, you got a little bit of black accenting here, a nice smoked chrome finish. And then down below, this is where we have a very aggressive lower fascia. It's all finished in the gloss black, and you also have the small blue accent, which is something that is hinting at the fact that this is a hybrid powertrain. We'll talk more about that later on in the review. You can also option on a little bit more aggressive of a lower splitter as well. Now, as we take a look at the headlights, you've got a premium full LED headlight arrangement. It's a projector LED, very nice looking daytime running light and turn signal indicator across the top. And I should just go ahead and mention, in terms of the trim structure, this is just going to be sold in one version, so it's going to be one very well equipped model. Now, as you see a little bit more of the side, I think this is where you can really see the connection between this 6th generation model and the previous 5 generations, which Honda was gracious enough to actually line up right over there in the same room. It's very cool to see that evolution with this model, especially 25 years later after that 5th generation model. Now, in terms of our wheels, we've got a 19-inch gloss black alloy. This is what comes standard. You can also get an accessory wheel with a little bit more contrast if you prefer that. And all-season tires will be standard, or you can get the summer tires that we have on today's example. Now, critical to performance here is going to be the fact that we have brakes here borrowed from the Civic Type R. So obviously that performance vehicle has the 4-piston Brembo brakes. That's included right here on the Prelude, and you get that nice blue finish to the calipers. Some more gloss black accenting through here. And in terms of our mirrors, they are of course going to have standard blind spot monitoring and heating.
Now, at the side of the Prelude, I have to say, seeing it here in person, this vehicle looks fantastic. And the side may be one of my favorite views of this car because it is just very low to the ground and has that beautiful proportion that we're wanting. Now, as far as a couple design elements, you will notice that we have flush mount door handles. That's a Honda first, and we're also going to have the availability of getting a blacked out roof. So that, of course, will add some extra contrast to your Prelude. Additionally, when it comes to colors, they are offering this vehicle at launch with 5 colors. This is Boost Blue Pearl right here. I think this looks really good. There's also Winter Frost, which is a new color for the Honda brand. Now, as we move around to the rear design of the Prelude, once more, I have to say, this thing looks really fantastic. It has all those very cool sports car proportions, but also looks quite luxurious at the same time. You will notice that the glass is raked back very prominently, and then we do not have a spoiler. One thing I do want to point out is that you can get one. You'll see that that white model over there does have the accessory spoiler. I think I would maybe option on for that because it does look really fantastic. Now, as far as the taillights are concerned, they are going to be full length all the way across the back, and they're going to be fully LED. So as you can see, you have your LED accenting, your LED brake light, amber turn signal indicator, and I do also believe you have your LED reverse light right there. You will also notice that Honda is going to be kind of spelled out across the back. That's an element that we first saw debut on the Prologue. Prelude is very prominent. And then down in the lower fascia, we do have a very aggressive lower fascia, but we're not going to have any exposed exhaust outlets. Now, as far as your safety systems are concerned, you are going to get all of those active safety features as standard equipment on the Prelude. That will even include things like adaptive cruise control with a traffic jam assist. It's also going to have new post-collision braking as well. And I think you're going to be very pleasantly surprised with what Honda has done on the inside, so let's get into that. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then we've reviewed over 2,000 cars at every price point.
No matter what you're looking for, from sound level readings to cargo measurements, we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family.
Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the latest cars. All right, let's move on to the interior. Here's our Honda key fob. It's the typical arrangement. You have a standard smart entry system with remote start. Now moving up to the vehicle, it does have those flush mount door handles, so you can just press in there and do that, or it can also pop out as you approach the vehicle as well. And let's take a look inside this interior. So I think you're going to be very happy with just how much luxury it looks like you have in here. It's a really sporty and nice looking design, especially when you choose this color combination. So it's going to be offered in two different versions. You can of course get the full black, but you can also get this kind of white and blue accented interior. I think this looks absolutely fantastic overall. And of course, a big part of the way this looks is the seat design. So this has a bespoke seat. They have not used this in any other Honda product. So it's just for this model. You can see it's got that sport design where the headrest is kind of integrated into the overall body. You have Prelude up there in the headrest. You got the contrast stitching, the two-tone finish running through the center section. And then this also has the unique feature of asymmetrical bolstering. So on the driver's side, you actually have more bolstering than you get on the passenger side, so that you can kind of hold yourself in a little bit tighter when you're driving aggressively, and have a little bit more comfort for your passenger over there on the side. Now, obviously, as you can see, this is a manual adjusting seat as well. And let's go ahead and climb on inside. Now that we're inside the cabin, let's look around at the rest of the material choices. So over here on the door trim, you've got the full leatherette covering with the two-tone stitching. You also have more leatherette through the center section and a soft touch plastic along the top. All the upper dashboard is also finished in a soft touch plastic. You've got this center accent here, which has a little bit of a suede-ish finish to it, and you'll notice that you've got the embroidering right through there and the stitching detail. That same detailing is going to carry on through this entire center console area, which is very nice and solid. Now, one of the nice things about the studio we're shooting in today is that it is a large enough space and well ventilated enough. I can actually fire it up, so let's go ahead and do that right now. Now it's all fired up, and like I was saying earlier, this is a hybrid, so you'll notice the engine did not fire up. And let's kind of zero in next on the gauge clusters to begin our interior tour. So this is going to be similar to what we've seen on many other Honda products. It's got the full digital cluster. This is 10.2 inches, and when you cycle through the different drive modes, you can see different designs. Speaking of, you can see those three drive modes right there. You have Comfort, GT, Sport, and then an individual mode where you can customize things. We'll talk a little bit more about that momentarily. As we pull back, we've got rain sensing wipers and a special steering wheel design. So we've got the two stitching details. It's a black finish, a little bit of suede accent at the top, flat bottom as well with the extra spoke. Really nice feel in the hand. Manual tilt and telescoping on board with this. As far as storage is concerned, we've got pretty decent storage. I mean, this is a two-door, obviously, so you've got enough space for probably a handful of donuts, but we don't have those with us today since we are shooting this in California for a very early first look. You have two very deep cup holders right through there. And then up in the very front, similar to what you have on a Civic, you've got a nice wireless phone charging pad. Now, as far as the shifter is concerned, it's all kind of concentrated right here in this center area with the piano black accenting. It's a push-button style shifter like many other Honda products. So you just press that D there for drive. They are for reverse. There's your backup camera. And then, of course, P for park. You've got your electronic parking brake with brake hold located right over there. Now by this point, you're probably noticing this large button located right over here on the right-hand side of the shifter. And that is a Honda First system. It's called the S Plus Shift Mode. It's debuting here on the Prelude. And what this is designed to do is basically make this more engaging to drive. So this, of course, does have the Honda hybrid system, very similar to what is in like a Civic hybrid. But because of this system, what you're going to have is 8 simulated gear changes. Those simulated gear changes are going to be more aggressive. Honda says that you can actually feel them. So unlike the other Honda products, it's not just an auditory thing. You actually have a physical feel to them when you're using these paddle shifters. You have upshifts and downshifts. Also, when you activate this mode, it's going to allow you to have more of an enhanced auditory experience, getting more engine sound into the vehicle. Now, of course, this is the first Prelude, though, that is not available with a manual transmission, so I should just go ahead and point that out. But this is, again, a Honda First for the brand. Now, up above, we have our climate controls. It's a dual-zone automatic setup. Very simple to adjust. You also have standard heated seats on this model. And then up top here, we've got a Bose sound system that will be included as standard equipment because, like I said, this is very well equipped as standard since it's just one trim level. And you have the 9-inch display. This 9-inch display is the premium version of Honda's software, so that means it has Google built in. So right now we're in the Google Maps view. And of course you have other things like the Play Store and the Google Assistant and also Amazon Alexa. You can also click there and check like your power flow and other things individual to a hybrid system. Wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are included as well. And then up top, we've got an auto dimming mirror. One thing I do want to point out is, I would say likely due to the shape of the roof here, we do not have a sunroof, but what that allows for is the fact that this feels very spacious in terms of headroom, even though this is a very sleek looking coupe.
Now, one of the things I love about almost every Honda product is just how practical it is. And even with a two-door coupe, they have put the rear seats in this Prelude model. And let's go ahead and check them out. So in order to get back into the next row of seats, it's pretty easy. All you have to do is grab this little lever right here. That is going to tilt the seat back forward, and then you can slide the seat forward because it is a manual seat. It's pretty easy to do, honestly. Sometimes that's easier than a power setup. Now let me go ahead and crawl back in here. Now, you wouldn't expect this to be a super spacious rear seat, and indeed it is not a super spacious rear seat. Honda says this is about 32 inches of legroom. They do not have a headroom figure, mainly because it's probably not very good. I'd say it's about 30 inches or so. Now, I'm 5'9" for reference, so that's something to keep in mind. I am a full-size adult, so if you're, a young adult, maybe that has smaller children, they would probably be able to easily fit back here in this next row of seats with no problem whatsoever. Now, this seat is actually slid most of the way back, and of course I brought the official Car Confections ruler along, even here to California, so you could see the knee room. It's going to be about a half an inch or maybe an inch of space, but I'm very happy to tell you that my feet can slide up underneath of the seat, and honestly, these seats are quite comfortable as well. They are actually going to be finished in a cloth, so unlike the front where they're leather, they're actually going to be a cloth here in the back. But they are very comfortable. You have this little center section here, and then as far as features are concerned, there's not really going to be many features as you might expect. Now let's go ahead and talk about the cargo area with the Prelude and see if that practicality continues. So in order to get back here, all you have to do is locate this little button under the lid, and that will go ahead and actually open up the lift back. Now I want to talk about this because if you're familiar with the Honda Prelude, this is actually the first version of the Prelude that has a lift back as compared to a traditional trunk. I think that's certainly a good move, and the reason I say that is because that's going to give you a lot more practicality as compared to some of those other versions. Now, as far as the overall cargo capacity, we don't have those official numbers yet. Do keep in mind this is a very early first look at the Prelude, so they're still getting some of those numbers finalized. However, just looking based on my personal estimation, I'd say you have probably maybe 15-ish cubic feet of space behind the second row of seats. And the good thing about these seats is that they can fold completely down. So you just kind of reach up here and fold them down. It looks like it's about a 60-40 split folding system. And then that will give you your maximum cargo capacity. With the seats folded down, I have to say it's actually quite practical. You would probably be surprised at how much stuff you can fit in here. Honda says you can easily fit in golf bags for those of you curious. As you can see, they have some duffel bag props back here as well. And it's a Car Confections review, so of course I'm going to get our cargo length, width, and height figures. Now this seat is adjusted most of the way back, so keep that in mind. And as far as cargo length, we're sitting at 62 inches of length. That's very good. From behind the second row of seats, you can expect about 27 inches of length. As far as the cargo opening, it's not going to be huge, but it's going to be definitely usable. 32 inches wide. And then cargo height, I'll go ahead and get that for you down here at the end of the cargo area. About 13 to 14 inches is what you are looking at. The load-in height is going to be actually a little bit taller than you might expect just because of the way the vehicle is shaped. That's coming in about 32 inches. Now, if we lift up the cargo floor, if I move some of these bags, you will find just a little bit of extra space, but you will not have a spare tire. This is a Honda hybrid after all.
And let's go ahead and talk about what is under the hood. So we've been mentioning it kind of leading into this, but this is indeed Honda's two-motor hybrid system. You've seen that applied to many other Honda products, and it is pretty much the same here. It is a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine with your 2 electric motors. Total system power on this is 200 horsepower and 232 pound-feet of torque. Now this is a front-wheel drive exclusive model, and I already spent some time discussing that S Plus shift mode on the inside of the vehicle. Now, other thing to consider is, of course, the fuel economy. That's going to be a biggie with this model, and of course, a massive improvement over the previous generations, because if it tracks with the Civic Hybrid, what you'd be looking at is having about 50 miles per gallon. So that model is rated at 49 combined. So I really think that with the sleek design of this, you really should have just about the same fuel economy, which would just be absolutely insane for a sporty coupe model. Now, obviously, we are taking a very early look at it in the studio, so we're not going to be driving it today, but let's talk a little bit about what you might be able to expect. A big thing with this model is the fact that it has the adaptive suspension from the Civic Type R. So that, of course, is going to give it a really good bones to work with, although Honda does say that they did tune it to be a little less aggressive than that because they envision this as more of a grand touring vehicle. And, of course, when you're in the Plus R mode in that Civic Type R, is very jarring in terms of the suspension. So I think that's a good move that they made with this suspension tuning. Obviously, they're saying it's going to be very sporty and good handling. We can't wait to actually put that to the test closer to when this model goes on sale.
And now let's talk about pricing and availability. That is a huge part of this Honda Prelude. How much is it going to cost and when is it available? Well, we don't have official numbers from Honda yet, so keep in mind this is a Car Confections estimate. So that is something to keep in mind. But after spending some time with it today, what we're thinking is it may start around the $35,000 price point. And because there's only one version of this vehicle, I'd say between $35,000 and $37,000 would be what we estimate this Prelude will cost. It is going to be manufactured in Japan. And as far as availability, I'm happy to tell you that this vehicle is going to be available in fall 2025. So you're really not going to have to wait much longer if you want to pick up one of these Preludes at your local dealership. Now, if you're looking to buy a Honda Prelude or any new vehicle, we'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. The reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that'll connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, as well as things like our monthly payment tool, you can find a link to that in our video description, as well as a pinned comment down below. And guys, that's going to wrap up our first look review of the all-new 2026 Honda Prelude. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, which we hope you did, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to be a part of our Car Confections family. We have a lot of fun on this channel, and we also strive to cover the latest cars on the market. So if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button down below. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support. And we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies and, of course, this Prelude in more detail in the future.